You're listening to Design Atlas Season 4. Have you ever felt the need to redirect the trajectory of your life? Whether prompted by personal realization, a desire to distance yourself from particular situations or environments, or inspired by the stories of others, the journey of self-discovery and transformation is a shared experience for designers and creatives alike. It's a continuous path of growth, marked by a perpetual commitment to improvement, learning, and exploration.
Design for good has always been sort of a part of my life.
That's Ambica Prakash, Principal and Creative Director at 82 Degrees Social Impact Branding and Design Studio based in the vibrant city of Washington, D.C. Ambica's narrative is a captivating story that weaves through continents, cultural intricacies, and the ever-evolving world of creativity. Originating from the bustling streets of New Delhi, India, Ambica's connection to a city that's both vast and warm has undeniably shaped her unique perspective on the creative journey she's embarked on. So what exactly is 82 Degrees Social Impact and Branding Studio? It's not just a design hub, it's a multifaceted creative space. At 82 Degrees, the belief is that smart social impact design is crucial for shedding light on critical issues. Together, they wield the power to sculpt a healthier, more equitable, and just future for all. It's not just a studio, it's a movement, women-led and welcoming to all, fostering an environment where everyone feels supported, respected, and free to be themselves.
As an immigrant from India, Ambica's love for art blossomed early on. Starting her career in advertising, she continued her education in visual communication in France and embarked on a journey to the United States. Ambica earned her master's in fine arts and graphic design from Indiana University, and before founding 82 Degrees, she shared her knowledge as a graphic design educator at the University of Wisconsin-Stout and American University.
Bringing together these rich experiences and diverse cultural influences, coupled with her unyielding passion for art, design, and social justice, Ambica birthed a design studio that strategically focuses on leveraging design for good, a testament to the transformative power of design. Ambica's professional journey didn't begin with founding an agency. Instead, she immersed herself in the advertising industry, dedicating over a decade to get to the position she holds today.
As an former academic, and when I was in grad school, my area of research was always focused on, I knew very early when I was finishing my first degree, I knew that this is not something I wanted to do, right? I kind of knew right away that after having spent 4 years studying it, in my fourth year, I was like, oh, I don't want to be doing this.
And so, Ambica had to make a clear choice early on to pursue something new, even having dedicated so much of her time in an area she was curious about, but in the end wasn't embracing a life dedicated to the advertising industry.
When I finished graduate school and started teaching, it was part of my pedagogy is design and social impact, design for good, and really kind of like opening the doors and windows for my students to think about like creative problem solving to amplify causes versus, products. And so, of course, I'm using those words very loosely because I know, there are products in the digital space as well, but, just in general, commercial versus, cause. And then, I got to a point where I wanted to step away from teaching, and I really started thinking about, is this a viable career choice? Am I, leading my students astray and saying, hey, you can do this work, but can you actually sustain yourself doing this work?
Ambica found herself grappling with a dual dilemma. On one hand, she encouraged her students exploring the possibilities of making a positive impact through design in the realm of social good, She enthusiastically introduced them to the associated ideas and concepts. On the other hand, a lingering question persisted in her mind. Could a career in this specialized field be both rewarding and fulfilling while also providing the lifestyle one desires?
I started it really to have like values alignment between like my personal values and my work values. I did not want, and I had like seen a lot of that growing up. I had seen a lot of that, in grad school. I'd seen that just talking to people that, so many people really hated their work, and we spend so much time working, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like really unhappy. This is not like a perfect rosy picture. Believe me, I have high days and low days, right? Like, let's just be real. But it was about the values. And so in 2010, when I had finished teaching and I started looking for a job, we were in the midst of a recession and people weren't hiring, and I didn't really find a job that really aligned with what I wanted to do. And some people were like, said to me, oh, you have a good portfolio. Why don't you think about working for yourself? I was like, I don't know anything about working for myself. But, long and short of it is, I decided to take that plunge and started 82 Degrees to really do the social impact work that I wanted to do, to work with people and causes that I cared about.
12 years down the road, Ambica now calls Washington, D.C. home. She considers herself exceptionally fortunate to have curated a formidable team in her design studio, dedicated to the noble cause of promoting social good through design. Her diverse team now forms a dynamic network of passionate individuals committed to advancing their collective mission and making an impact on a social, societal, and environmental level.
And, I will say that our move, I'm based in Washington, D.C., and the move to D.C. was intentional. It was, D.C. is a place where obviously, it's the government hotbed. There's a lot of, nonprofits have offices here. There's a lot of policy work that goes on. So, I knew that, coming to D.C. would be a good place. Coming to D.C., when I finished teaching at American University and started thinking about getting a job, one, I didn't have that much work in my portfolio because I was trying to build my students' work, right? So there's that. So it took me a while to start doing some work to build my portfolio, whether it was like pro bono work, volunteering, sitting on boards, and all of that to kind of give back and sort of help different organizations. So I did that. And then I started really first doing informational interviews and just started talking to people because there were a few different avenues. One, I could have gone and got a job at an agency or studio that did this type of work. I could have gone in-house where I could have got a job at a nonprofit being an in-house designer. And then the other option was, starting something of my own. And when I decided that I was going to do that, I just started meeting people, going to happy hours, going to, asking this cousin who knew that person to, make a connection. So, and I will say that way, I was fortunate that people were willing to meet me, to talk with me, to see the work. And it was one client, one project that, I was like, okay, it's not going to pay my bills by any means. I don't even remember. I think it may have been like $1,000 or $500 for the first project, right? But it was like, oh, I got a project, so it started with that. And then it just, I just, kept grounded.
As Ambica's design studio experienced growth, she recognized the importance of collaboration in realizing her vision of creating social impact through design. Working with collaborators became a cornerstone of her approach, as she actively sought out diverse talents to enrich the creative landscape. Ambica fostered an environment that welcomed fresh perspectives and ideas, nurturing a collaborative spirit within her team. This inclusive ethos allowed her studio to tap into a wealth of creativity and expertise, enabling them to tackle complex projects with innovative solutions. Through strategic partnerships and a commitment to shared goals, Ambica's collaboration-driven approach not only contributed to the studio's success, but also strengthened its capacity to affect meaningful change in the world through design.
Start working with collaborators, which allowed me to be nimble but still produce really good work and get to know a lot more people in the community. So that was a plus of doing that, is just making connections and working with really talented people, a lot more, people way more talented with me, and just, finding opportunities to, see how we could collaborate to, serve a particular client.
8 years into establishing her own design studio, Ambica achieved a significant milestone by hiring her first team member. This pivotal moment, a new chapter in the evolution of her studio, signaling growth and expansion. The decision to bring a team member on board reflected Ambica's vision for scaling creative endeavors and fostering a collaborative environment. With the strategic addition, she laid the foundation for a team-oriented approach, setting the stage for further accomplishments and a collective success in the years to come.
When I was like, okay, it's, you start crunching the numbers and you start thinking about how are we serving clients, because when you're working with freelancers all the time, which we still work with freelancers and collaborators, is that you don't have that consistency. And then I also grew a little bit in my own leadership and vision that I really wanted to build, a small Get Mighty studio with a strong team of designers and collaborators and project managers that worked together, that I was liking going to work. Are there other people that I can facilitate this opportunity? If not, all days are going to be perfect, but for the most part, can you love what you're doing?
Noting not only the growth of her studio, but also a personal evolution in leadership and vision, her initial ambition to establish a small studio with a robust team of designers, collaborators, and project managers has materialized and exceeded her expectations. The gratification she has found in her work has been grounded in the harmonious collaboration within her talented team. When Ambica embarked on the journey of naming her design studio, she sought after a name that encapsulated the essence of her creative vision and the collaborative warmth. After careful consideration, she settled on 82 Degrees. The name wasn't just a random choice. It held significance beyond its numerical value.
And so I knew it wasn't going to be my name. First of all, nobody can pronounce my name anyway, so that would have been bad, but it would have been a bad choice. But anyway, so I think, for us, we started thinking about, and, my husband and I started the studio together, and we started brainstorming ideas, and we were so fixated on the weather. We came up with so many names that were weather related, but 82 degrees just seemed like the perfect temperature for us. And sometimes we like to say that we like to turn up the heat on our clients in challenging the status quo, and, really pushing them to try new things, all to kind of go back to their mission, vision, and audience.
The clients Ambica collaborates with and the work undertaken within her studio encompasses a realm of social impact branding and design. The focus lies on partnering with mission-driven organizations, cause-oriented entities, educational institutions, museums, and companies dedicated to making a positive impact. The vetting process for clients is guided by core issues, areas outlined in the studio's website, ensuring alignment with the values and objectives that define their impactful and purposeful-driven initiatives.
They're kind of loose. It's a very loose guide, but it keeps us focused on the kinds of issues that we want to work on. So, you were talking, I think, earlier about, this particular podcast is focusing on environmental issues and environmental challenges, which is definitely one of our buckets, as I call them, of work. We have, for that, worked with, the DC government, the DC Department of Energy and Environment. We've worked with the Smithsonian's Anacostia Museum, and there's a project around women, environmentalism, and justice. And so, there's, that kind of project. There's also this Agents of Change project, which is about cultivating diverse leadership in environmental justice and, amplifying voices that are marginalized. Those are, some projects that come to mind sort of in the environmental space, but, we've also been doing a lot of work around food justice, hunger, and equity. With the Capital Area Food Bank is, a pretty large food bank here that we've been working with for quite a few years. In fact, last week when our team was together, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, but we finally did it as we went as a team and volunteered. So it was nice to, actually be, while we do a lot of the visual branding work and storytelling work that we've done in their warehouse, actually to be a volunteer and just do the work and learn about it in a different way was, I think, really empowering for us, as a team and educational. And it also, I think, for me, and I hope it was for my team as well, connected us even more to the work. So we work with them. We work with a couple of museums in DC. We've worked, with the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We were fortunate to do their grand opening campaign, but have also worked on other campaigns for them to, advance the mission and vision of the museum. We also work with a museum called Planet Word that is, about language and words and the power of that and helping them sort of develop their brand voice.
In the realm of learning and leadership, we can see that Ambica holds a special key strength, being a dedicated learner. The enthusiasm of delving into diverse issues has become a hallmark of her leadership approach. Over the years, this commitment to continuous learning has fostered lasting relationships with certain clients. The enduring nature of these collaborations has provided a unique vantage point to gauge the impact and progress made on the relevant issues. It's through these sustained partnerships that the studio can discern the tangible shifts and contributions toward influencing positive change in the areas they engage with.
We look at our clients as partners in this process, and they are totally the experts, right, in the work that they're doing. We cannot come in and, be like, well, let us tell you how to do, run your programs, right? So that's not our place. So I think it's about recognizing where we fit in that journey, in that sort of in the work, asking questions, being curious, challenging the status quo and pushing them a little bit, keeping in mind the goals and objectives and making sure if they, identifying clearly, who the audience is.
As we mentioned earlier, Ambica holds a central approach to her work to deconstruct complex concepts for her clients in a manner akin to the methodology with students. While the context differs, similar techniques are employed with the overarching goal of empowering clients. The intent is for clients to feel not only informed but also empowered in the decisions they make and the collaborative contributions brought to the table. This emphasis on demystifying intricacies reflects on commitment to fostering a sense of agency and understanding, both in educational settings and professional collaborations.
They don't have to blindly believe in what we're doing, but at the same time, they need to know what has been the trajectory. What have we researched? What have we tried? What is the solution? And why do we think that this is a good solution, right? And so I think that that is part of what I do, is try to educate our clients and earn their trust so that they feel safe and they feel challenged in a safe way, in a safe space, in a safe way, so that we're all sort of working together to shift the needle on these causes that we're working on. Because at the end of the day, it's not about working against one another, because then you're just like, it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive.
Evolving into an advocate and changemaker has emerged as a transformative journey for Ambica. Initially grappling with the abstract concept, the process has transpired into not only scratching the surface, but diving deeper and unraveling layers of understanding. This pivotal exploration has prompted a shift from a stance rooted in critique and criticism to one characterized by advocacy and driving change. Ambica actively embraces the responsibilities and opportunities inherent in becoming a changemaker.
But really, to me, it became like, what am I doing about this? And I think that is where I think if you're, really kind of using the word catalyst, I think that is what led me to start the studio. I think for me, creatives, like all other professionals, in my opinion, need to really think about whether they're part of the problem or they're part of the solution.
As Ambica passionately shared, the essence lies in contributing to a more positive world with a tangible impact. It boils down to a straightforward concept: the significance of the work 82 Degrees engages in and the imprint it leaves on the world. Ambica urges reflection on the nature of one's profession, especially if it involves promoting fossil fuels, contributing to deforestation, or marginalizing vulnerable populations. She emphasizes the responsibility of considering the legacy left behind for future generations. In her perspective, creatives possess a unique role as idea generators, solution creators, and out-of-the-box thinkers. Their capacity to think differently and bring diverse perspectives to the table positions them to be pivotal contributors to positive change.
And I think that that's how we can be contributing to have a better positive impact with the work that we do to create a better planet, to protect our planet, to protect the people. It's not always easy, for sure. But at the same time, I personally feel, for me, it has been rewarding.
The stark reality, though, that Ambica highlights is not everyone has the opportunity or privilege to exclusively pursue jobs promoting sustainability. The acknowledgement of this disparity underscores a broader societal challenge. The conversation delves into a recognition that not everyone can disconnect from roles that may not align with sustainability goals. Ambica shows gratitude each day for having found and committed to such a purpose-driven path. However, a crucial caveat is offered, a reminder to be mindful of the privilege associated with this choice. The acknowledgement serves as a call to keep such privilege in check, recognizing that for some individuals, the decision between earning a livelihood and aligning with personal values may not be as straightforward.
So I want to make sure that I'm also clear and transparent that, while I have chosen the spot, I understand that it's not for everyone. And that's why, when I said earlier, no judgment, I really genuinely mean that, because, there are definitely designers that, may not be in that position. But at the same time, I think there are ways that we can still be contributing to these issues. I mean, obviously, if all our clients had in-house creative teams, we would be out of business. So, but I am also of the mindset that there's plenty of work out there and plenty of clients whose causes we could impact.
The commitment to a sustainable and impactful design ethos is a personal choice. If there's one thing you take away from this episode, it should be this: there is ample room for impact, even beyond the realm of in-house creative teams. Aim to use your creative skills as a call to action to explore and embrace diverse opportunities that support topics within societal and environmental initiatives, making a positive difference throughout a world that is so desperately in need of our help.
For more information about Ambica and the 82 Degrees Studio, visit our website, designatlaspod.com. Don't forget to follow our show on Instagram at designatlaspod or join our Slack community. All these details and more can be found in the show notes of this episode. Love what we're doing on Design Atlas? Make sure to give us a positive review on your favorite podcast streaming platform. We'd really appreciate it. Stay tuned for our next episode, which launches next Thursday, featuring Chrissy Levitt, an accomplished creative director and founder of Creative Conscience, a global organization that encourages, trains, and rewards creative thinking for social and environmental impact. You are listening to Design Atlas Season 4.